Hi everybody, I wanted to show you this this auto link from Autel. It's the AL319. Now I got it off of Amazon. It was £22, and I must say right away I quite like it. It's when you plug it in, it's very fast to boot up. Like it's 20 seconds, and then not so good in older cars, but in newer cars you get quite a lot of information off the thing. So there it is. But what I was going to show you here was, this is my car. It's a BMW. It's an older BMW. It's a E46. It's a 2004, and it's a diesel. So I decided to run the test, and if you hit the monitors, it's got this. Oh, anyway, my focus back here again. If I hit this monitor button, it links to it, and it tells you if the monitors have run on the car. Now, to put you in the picture, here in the UK, we don't need the monitors to run. I see the guys in the States, you guys that are in the States, you need it, but in the UK we don't need monitors to run for our MOT. They just check your emissions, and they don't check the monitors. But it was just for my own curiosity that I noticed that one of the monitors will not run, and you can see that's the one down at the bottom there. It's the EGR valve. You can see the fuel one has run, and I think that the other one, the CCM, that's a component test, hit run as well. But I've reset these monitors. The way you do it, you go in and you erase all codes, and it resets the monitors. And I've read online the procedure to try and get this EGR valve to run, but it still will not run. So what I thought I would do was go and check out what the EGR system is on this car, and see if it's working okay, and try and find out where this monitor's not running. So I'll load up the Veris, and I'll get the information off of that and show you just what's involved in this. Let me say that this is not a new EGR system, it's the old one, and it's with vacuum, and it's not even got any potentiometer to read the EGR position. But I just thought it'd be interesting anyway, just to show you what's in this system and how to test it. So we'll load up the Veris information here. There's BMW 2004, the E46, and this is the 2-litre diesel. Just say OK. That'll load up the information. What I was going to do from here is go into the troubleshooter. So you hit home, guided component test, Europe, and it's this one here I've got. It's the, I think it's a DD6. Let me see. So load up there. Go into engine, and we're going to EGR solenoid valve component information. So there you go. It's a large cylinder shaped component with a 2-pin connector. It is an electrical solenoid type EGR valve, NOx, nitrogen emissions, and let the solenoid, the vacuum line. So there you go. The solenoid opens a control valve located in the vacuum line. The solenoid opening is controlled by pulse width modulation with a signal from the ECM. The vacuum line is connected to the EGR valve. The EGR valve opens when vacuum is applied. Exhaust gas from the exhaust manifold circulates the inlet EGR open. The amount of free circulation required depends on engine operating condition. The ECM calculates the amount of free circulation required and opens the valve accordingly. It is fitted at the engine block above the alternator. So that is the actual solenoid, as I say, and then it's just a 2-pin job, and it's got a 12-volt supply and a control wire. So I'll show you that in the car, and I'll show you how we can test this EGR valve. So there's the EGR valve there, and you see the cylinder type thing, and down the bottom there you can see where the light's shining on. What you see the pipe work going into is the electrical solenoid. What I've done here is connect a vacuum gauge in line, EGR, so it goes into there, and it feeds off the actual solenoid, and then you put your vacuum gauge in line. Now you can know if it's working if it pulls a vacuum. So it won't start the car. It should do that at any temperature.
So you can see there that it's the vacuum pump that I'll put a picture in, because a diesel engine doesn't create its own vacuum, and it's supplying that vacuum to the EGR valve, and that's getting pulled in. You can actually hear the engine when it's getting pulled, the revs die a little bit. So the other way of testing this valve is to just simply put a vacuum pump on it, disconnect the normal vacuum line and draw a vacuum in. Now that will tell you if the diaphragm within the EGR valve is good, i.e. it's got the ability to hold vacuum, but it certainly does not tell you whether the EGR valve is opening and closing. You've actually got to, well, most of the time, or with this one, you've got to go in and look to see, to unbolt it. So the other test I was going to show you here was if you suspect, see that vacuum was not getting pulled, you would then be suspecting this valve. So what you would do is to check for 12 volts and a pulse ground. So I found the easiest way to do this is, rather than get a test light in here because it's a bit awkward, for years I've used a Noid light. Now I know a lot of them in the trade hate these Noid lights, but I think they're brilliant because it pulls exactly the same amperage as a test lamp, and you can use it in lots of difficult places, especially if it's Bosch connectors. So there, I've got it installed in there, and that's engine running, and you can see that there's electrical integrity within that circuit. Now it knows there's a fault in that circuit, and that's why the light goes off, and it flags this fault code, a P0401, so EGR fault. So you can then go in and clear that fault, and you get back to the same situation that you then need to, it clears the monitors and you've then got to rerun them again. So the bottom line of this is, I can run these other two monitors, but I still cannot get that EGR monitor to run. So if anybody's got any ideas, I just thought I'd show you some of the PIDs that this wee machine can show. So that was the engine obviously cranking and starting, and you've got your load there, engine coolant temperature, the map, pressure, RPM, that's the vehicle speed, and then that's air intake temperature, and that's a MAF sensor. So if you rev it up, you can see you get a reading there, and so it even tells you if you've got a DTC count as soon as you go in. So if you just accelerate, you can see what load the engine's getting to. You can also check to see if the turbo's outputting. So when you get over 100, you know that they're getting turbo boost there. And also, if you've got a no start, you can go into the RPM, and at least it'll tell you if you get RPM, you know you're cranking, your cam may be good, or they usually are quite good. So I think this is a brilliant wee tool. I'm very impressed with the thing, and it's quick. It saves you from booting up the Veris or the bigger bit of machinery. You can get right on with the job. Have a quick look at. And here's another use of an oil light. You can use it to test common rail diesel injectors. It saves you from mucking about with a scope, and if you can't get one to start, at least if you check and see if there's a pulse here, you know you've got enough pressure and you've got cam and crank. So as long as you disconnect the injector, because it's high voltages, but you can see that works fine. So it's a quick test to see if you've got a pulse to your diesel injector, and if you have, you know that you've got fuel pressure, cam and crank to make it work. So cheers.